This is a clouds weather alert.
Back here in the weather center with Helene coverage. We got knocked off there from our on-camera source a little while ago because of the winds really picking up in Bradford County, and we still might get knocked off again and have to go back to the backup system. As no, one of our backup systems didn't kick in there. We went over to for a little bit to our degraded type of feed there to stick with you, but Hurricane Helene here, major Hurricane Helene made landfall as a Category 4 storm around 11:15, 11:20, give or take there toward the coastline in Taylor County. I know. Let me give you the particulars on that because we've been kind of running around here in the Weather Center to try to get back on the air. So I want to make sure I kind of document that for you guys, the viewers at home here. That information 11:20, 140-mile-an-hour winds there with that landfall. It's about 10 miles west southwest of Perry, looking like it's a Category 4 storm. Technically, it was about 11:10. That's what they're saying. That pressure is at 938 millibars. So again, back in front of the wall, we have multiple extreme wind warnings in play. Getting some new ones just coming out. I know we had one. It's about Jacksonville office recently, and another one out for Jefferson, Lafayette, Madison, Taylor until 1:30. As power just being knocked out all over the place, even here in Bradford County. I mean, we were able to get back on for now, but who knows how long we'll keep it. We have some pretty nasty activity. It's coming up from the south, and there's some radar issues too. Jacksonville's office has been having some problems, communication problems. I'll check here in a moment, see if that's back on because it's causing issues. We had a tornado warning in Columbia. There apparently was a spot in that before the tornado warning got issued. So there's just all sorts of, things that are happening here, even further out toward the east. But, further toward the west is where we have the catastrophic scenario, the extreme, once in a lifetime event, sadly, tragically, out there toward the Big Bend region. So we've been trying to maintain coverage here, and we're back in front of the wall right now to keep you guys up to date. I know we're just trying to be with you the best we can. I know when we're off for a moment, if we have another issue, cloudy.com/radar, I can give you the latest. So can weather.gov to some degree. I know. I just continue to track all this here. I'm going to step out of the shop for a minute because I just want to go ahead and continue to watch things here. I know we had to adjust all of our lights and everything here, and I need to go ahead and adjust one of them a little bit more as we continue along in our coverage. Again, a nasty situation. One of them was kind of in my eyes there because when stuff gets shut off like that, sometimes our settings get reset here, and I had to reset a whole bunch of things there on the fly. But again, trying to keep you guys safe and informed. We have a Cat 4 hurricane catastrophic situation here. Obviously, we're in Stark, by the way, if you're wondering, from across the region. If you're not familiar with my coverage, and we had the power hit there, but we're back on for the time being. Not Cat 4 winds here, but tropical storm conditions here in Bradford County. Guys, not far probably from Hurricane force. So I don't think we've seen anything like that measured. I mean, my sensor here, I mean, we had gusts, at a 6 foot level to 38 miles an hour, but obviously a lot. Those are tropical storm force gusts there, by a pretty good margin when you do the calculations compared to the sites that are higher up. But as we continue to watch things here, we have so many extreme wind warnings. There's so much to talk about, so much, to deal with this storm system, with this hurricane. I know we have more extreme wind warnings in Florida. They're not showing up for some reason. We do have one in Georgia that's showing up, though. Let me go ahead and go back on over toward our other mode here if I can. This is very important that folks take heed of these extreme wind warnings here. So that's the view there. Let me go ahead. Okay, some of them just filled in for me. So let me go ahead and try to get that up on our other source. Hope all of them are in there, but we see here as there's a lot of issues just all over the board everywhere, whether it's on my end, on this, everywhere. Jacksonville office having problems. It's a situation that's not one that's easy to face. So again, let's go ahead. I mean, it's a lot worse even in those extreme wind warning areas. But again, back with you here on camera now. So there's more of the extreme wind warning accident. It was only showing the one a moment ago, but we have Monticello, Madison, just an extreme situation. In fact, let me go ahead and make it where we can kind of cover this up. So Perry's been in the eye there to some degree. It's degraded a little the eye, but see the eye wall right in Mayo. Mayo and Lauraville there. That's not good for you guys. Panetta, you see Monticello, Joaquina, up toward, areas of Quitman. And I mean, I'm kind of pointing the wrong way, but Quitman there, Valdosta, Thomasville, you're going to be getting worsening conditions very rapidly here as the situation does evolve with Helene. So again, a serious scenario. We just got the 12 o'clock a.m. update. Again, made landfall about 50 minutes ago. Taylor County, another hurricane hitting Taylor County. This one a Cat 4 though, not a Cat 3 or a Cat 1 like these last two events. Idalia Cat 3 last year, Debbie a Cat 1 this year, but this was a Cat 4 and is bigger in size too, so worse all the way across the board. Got the storm surge, Cedar Key, worse. Steinhatchee, terrible report to storm surge according to Weather Service information. I was looking at as I was getting ready to come back in front of the wall to continue this coverage here. So let me go ahead and step out. We got that 12 a.m. update. Let's go ahead and switch on over here towards some of that information. New extreme wind warning for Hamilton and Suwanee at 1:30. So they're coming, fast and furious, these extreme wind warnings now. So they're going still 140 on the sustained winds. They haven't even dropped them. They haven't even dropped them. I mean, because, I mean, that's just how bad of a storm this is. I mean, the eyes, about to be over I-10, and we're still talking about a Cat 4 hurricane, minimum pressure 938 millibars. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. Persons should not leave their shelters, and they need to remain in place to the path of these life-threatening conditions. When in the eye, people are reminded to not venture out in the relative calm, as hazardous winds will increase very quickly when the eye passes. Recently, a measured gust was reported in Perry at 99 miles an hour. We see some of that on our system in between being in front of, the key wall with the coverage on our main system. And then the pressure of 948 millibars in Perry. We're at 990 here in Stark, and that's something that we haven't seen, I don't think, since Irma. But 948 is just, a whole nother level. Cedar Key storm surge almost 9 feet. I mean, that's 2 feet or so above what we had there, give or take, during Idalia, depending on how you want to measure that. So, yikes, and it may get even worse. So, let me check that gauge. Or one system still kind of is up behind the scenes more with the way things kind of gone. I might have to refresh it because we had just, with the power flickered a whole bunch of times there when we had our highest gust so far at our 6 feet, which is 38 miles an hour. But again, that probably, extrapolates out to at least 50 miles an hour as you get further up, maybe even closer to 60. I know Cedar Key, that storm surge there, still rising, almost 9 feet. They're right at high tide, and this is what happens in this situation, and it's heartbreaking. And up the coast as well, we just don't have the sensors. Let's go ahead and I'd see it. We've been getting a lot of gusts here in between being on, 59 Lake City. We had 73 Jacksonville. We had 60 in St. Augustine, 62 Perry, but of course they've had a lot worse. 58 Moody Air Force Base, 62 Tallahassee, 62 Valdosta. Some of these might be repeats, but then others are different numbers from a few moments between. 66 Lake City. You kind of get the idea. I know we have an extreme wind warning for Echols County. Haven't touched on that probably here because we've been jumping around, but that's in play till 1:45. In fact, let me reset this. So I'm going to go to my other source behind this. I want to make sure we're on top of all these because these are all, they all have to be pointed out because this is so bad for so many folks when you have an extreme wind warning. This is, I say once in a lifetime, but it's now 2 times in 2 years. A lot of these areas, and it looks like Jacksonville's having to get some of their warnings issued by the New Orleans office now. So they might have completely went offline at Jacksonville. Their radar is down. Apparently, it looks like New Orleans is now having to take over for Jacksonville because of all the winds over that way. So the wind field really spreading out, more than you would expect. I mean, the Jacksonville TV stations weren't even, some of them, at least in wall-to-wall in prime time. And Jacksonville office can't even issue warnings right now. New Orleans having to take over, it appears. Suwanee and Hamilton to 1:30. We thought Tallahassee would be the office that would go offline, quite honestly, and they still might. But Suwanee and Hamilton to 1:30. Extreme wind warning. It's northwest Suwanee and northwestern Hamilton counties to be precise. We're talking about Lafayette, northeastern Taylor, Jefferson, and Madison counties until 1:30. Western Eccles until 1:45. Lowndes, Thomas, and Brooks counties until 2 a.m. Again, these are tornado-like winds, that you maybe you haven't always seen in your life, like, you see in, video that winds during Andrew and Michael type of conditions. I mean, as we get later on, not everybody has that, but, this is bad stuff, what we're dealing with here, what we're tracking, what we're monitoring. I was looking a moment ago, 1 million people without power in the country. By the way, I mean, not in the country, excuse me, in the state of Florida, which it's going to be more than that in the country coming up when this gets into Georgia. But you see the gust over 70 around Jacksonville. I want to make sure that I'm trying to put out all the extreme wind warnings on Twitter/X. I'll try to just maybe run them down even on the screen with you guys. So we had, I think, 2 of them issued recently. Both of them by the, let's see, that's Tallahassee, and then one by Jacksonville, one by Tallahassee then. So I just want to try to keep putting those out. So a lot of folks are in the dark at this point, and they, I just want to make sure that they're at least seeing this. Something I've decided to kind of do here in this set of circumstances. So there's just so much happening. And then we're in a situation here where that surge coming up so much. It's just a very problematic scenario. And the trees could be falling on homes and the like. Let me check Bradford information here. Oh boy, there's reports all over the place. So road obstruction in Hampton, 88th Street and County Road 18. Looks like road obstruction there in Stark, 55th Lane and 177th Street. Wider down in Hampton, County Road 227 and County Road 18. Road obstruction in Brooker, 155th Street and County Road 235. And a utility car we talked about earlier on John's Drive. So that's what, the most I've seen on something like that is such a serious situation here. You can see some lighting even on that eastern periphery, it would seem, and toward parts of Clay County. Got to watch rotation on some of this because we don't have the radar. There's just something that's happened with the Jacksonville office there. So their radars are not coming through. A communications issue, it seems, and then they're not even able to issue warnings. So at this point, so again, a nasty situation here. I'm off camera because I can check out a lot of stuff while I'm talking to you guys. I'll come back on here in a second, as we have just so many folks in the dark here in this, power outage scenario. Let me go ahead and make sure we get the latest on this. I mean, it's really getting pretty ugly on this map. Let me go ahead and pop it up. I mean, we were in this for a moment, but, it got ahead and got, fixed there. But Bradford County even, and this isn't even counting the city of Stark Electric, but, I mean, talking about over half the county in the dark. Alachua over 80,000. Union about 4,000. Columbia over 30,000. Baker over 7,000. And then you just see it's pretty much everybody in the dark out toward the west there. Leon, I mean, only 41,000 so far. That's still bad, but compared to what we were thinking here, and it's still bad there. Gust almost 70, which, I mean, Hermine, similar, but the point is, comparatively, what he could have been there, they're one of the spots that's doing a little bit better, but there is the east got the brunt of some of this, nasty activity. So, again, I'm just going to continue to track this here. I'm going to continue to monitor. Under 990 millibars now with the pressure in this dark area, which is, something that, again, probably haven't seen since Irma. At this point, definitely looks like the worst storm in Bradford since Irma. So, again, nasty stuff here as we're tracking, as we're monitoring. Just trying to keep you safe and informed. Again, the power.us map important. Just going through some stuff here. Okay, so again, you just see a slew of outages. It's going to take a while for the power to come back on as we're looking at things here, as we're tracking the situation. So again, having to deal with that, obviously. Having to deal with that. Looks like a Dowling Park Center gusting 99 miles an hour in Suwannee County. So that's very serious, obviously. Very serious situation there. I mean, we said earlier all the damage they had in last storm, and now adding insult to injury. So again, just trying to continue to give you the latest. I'm just making sure we're trying to stay on top of this. A lot happening here in the Weather Center. Again, getting these really inclement conditions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get ready to come back in front of the wall here. And in these extreme wind warnings, you got to treat these like tornado-like situations, because these are the type of winds we're seeing in some of these areas of these gusts. I mean, you just heard me say 99 there. It's in the Dowling Park area, Suwannee, Advent, Kristen Village area. I think I was in that area looking at the damage from Vidalia last year. Now here we go again, but something worse coming on through. It's just heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Again, make sure you're in that, spot where you get as many walls between you and the outside as possible. You're protecting yourself from flying to roof, put on a bicycle helmet, football helmet, something like that if you're under an extreme wind warning. So speaking of those, let's go ahead and go back over to that source here. We'll jump back on over right now here, I think, if we can. As we're working through a couple of things, here we go. So again, look at the extreme wind warning. I know gust to 66 at Jacksonville Craig recently, but you see this extreme wind warning, just a zone of extraordinary danger here. As we're looking, Tallahassee gust to about 60 miles an hour in this center. We had a gust to close to 70 there recently, but you can kind of see here just extreme problems, and all the way down to the coast we've had it. Storm surge, worse than Idalia, obviously, which is just awful to think about. As we continue here, we're in Bradford County, and most, folks, Bradford County West, really, is on that map, are in the dark right now. I mean, I believe, it's a situation where Alachua actually had more outages than Leon, and we might be next again, because I hear the wind. This howling outside right now. We might be next once again with outages. It may be worth pulling that map up again in case, we go out here soon. Once again, we got, that wind is just nasty outside right now here in Bradford County. This easterly jog adjustment, really being a problem here as we're looking at things, as we're tracking. I know, just continuing to give you guys the very latest here. Okay, so there's your map. You're at his map. So let's say that. So Alachua 82,742 out. Leon 43,825 out. So yeah, that easterly adjustment of the eastern weightedness of the storm. A big problem here as we've been looking at things in toward the Weather Center with Helene as we look at all the information coming on in. I mean, when you're in the radar talking about really more on the way, and especially the dark red, more in the way of widespread power outages. The lighter red, we're talking about a situation where, it's still a significant number in the dark, and even the orange. The yellow, I'll kind of say you, Clay, Duval, St. John, Nassau, some of those further over. I mean, it's still, a good number. Look at Duval, over 62,000 in the dark. I mean, St. John's over 23,000. Still serious stuff here. as we're continuing to update you guys here on Helene. I mean, again, that is, nasty, nasty in terms of the number of outages out there. I'm sure the trees have been falling all over the place as we're looking, especially west of 301 there, back to Tallahassee and, a little west. But again, the worst has been probably from really the east side of Tallahassee to probably, in the middle of Bradford and Alachua and Baker counties here, and then all the way through Levy. But again, pretty soon on that updated map I showed, a little bit less on the left side as things adjusted, as we kind of referred to earlier on. But again, just continuing to give you guys the very latest here on what's happening with Helene. I know, just looking at the barometric pressure still dropping 989.8 millibars here in the Stark area. That's the lowest we've seen since Irma. As we continue along here with the coverage to keep you guys safe and informed. Again, we had landfall about an hour ago in Taylor County as a Cat 4 hurricane. Those winds at 140 miles an hour. So, it's just a horrible set of circumstances. The storms are just rising on in. The numbers I've seen have been close to 10 feet right now, which is only a little higher, but higher by, a few feet than Adalia. But, I haven't had a chance to crunch all the numbers. It could be an area in there, and we don't have all the numbers. Could be an area in there that's a lot worse. Still worse, though, by a reasonable number. The worst storm surge we've ever had in Cedar Key now, second year in a row. Adalia last year, and now here with our storm system, Helene. So. Perry gets to 76, so they must be on the back side of that eye wall here. Let's go ahead and go on over to some different sources if we can. As we continue to watch here, continue to track. I'm going to go ahead and jump on over toward that view. And we're looking off, I think, the Tallahassee radar. And that northern, this part of the eye wall is what is really intact, not as much on the back side, but let's try that, again, just to make sure folks see what I'm saying. This is the eye wall that's really intact right here that's causing, the grave concern here. You see Tallahassee still getting pretty bad weather, but they're really not. And I'll double check this on my view here, zoom on some velocity. It doesn't really look like they're in the eye wall there in Tallahassee. But, Thomasville, and you're actually in Monticello, you're in it. Thomasville's going to get in it here soon. You're not going to be quite in it yet. But then Valdosta's in it. Numbers are a lot worse than what that says, I'm sure. There's Statenville, Jasper, even Live Oak. I'm a little surprised there's not an extreme wind warning further on over there in Ward Swanee County as we're looking at things. In fact, let me check that just to make sure there's not, and our system isn't picking up on it. But you see here the situation as it does evolve here. A storm for the record books, obviously, as the situation does persist here. So again, let me just check some more information. Just want to see, yeah, it didn't go further than where it's on that map. I just wanted to make sure, because that's where we're having a tornado-like winds that are going to cause utter devastation. Granted, it's not going to be much different. It's a little east. The west is a little more dramatic of a cutoff, but still damaging for sure. As we continue along here, that eye there, pretty much getting over I-10 right now toward Madison County. As we continue along here with the coverage, I may try to put some traffic cameras up, but we were having trouble earlier on. Again, such a huge event here, such a big story. Flash flood warnings in play, of course. Remember, turn around, don't run if you're out. But who's adding something like this? I mean, as we have a slew of them. Again, trying to give you the latest. Again, still with you here. Going through all the different sources. Again, such a big event here for the area. I know seeing these gusts here coming out 66 around Jacksonville, Craig Field there, Perry 76 miles an hour, Tallahassee 67. Let me go ahead. We'll see you again. Still Cat 4 hurricane with sustained winds and that, catastrophic rains here at the last check. So a really, really extreme scenario. That storm surge get up there so high with Helene. Honestly, not sure why. Yeah, some of the stations in our area are not on wall to wall with this even further over. I mean, there's enough reason to do it, but I digress. Maybe they're having technical difficulties. I'm not sure. Again, just continuing to give you the latest here. You can see the extreme wind warning there still showing up on this map. It's just a one-man band here, though. I mean, of course, all these TV stations and the like have so many resources, but I'm just doing my best here to try to keep you guys safe and informed here tonight. As you can see, the extreme wind warning here in play in this zone here. That's where we have these dire type of winds, and the wind's really picking up around Stark again. The radars are still having problems, but we can still see some from this, and we have, squally weather. 63 gusts recently, Gainesville, 49 Keystone, 64 south side of Jacksonville, 72 Jacksonville Airport. And here, well, I know 30 is the peak since midnight, but again, that's really when you do the calculations because it's only at 6 feet, and a lot of the other centers are a lot higher. Then we're talking about really tropical storm gusts, multiple tropical storm gusts here on Stark. And that's causing power outages to be a pretty prevalent story as the night goes on. So, again, still tracking things here. I see Augusta almost 70, 69, and Lake City now showing up on other stores. These are, just shy of hurricane force with these winds way, way to the east here as this scenario is ongoing. So, again, trying to give you the very latest here. I know it has, gone a little further east than the expectation, but we talked about that potential in our covered, and it's going right in the butt off, like we said. I mean, there's going to be, you know, so much damage there. I'm sure trees are just snapping left and right now in Lowndes County and Brooks County, and then more so next few moments as this moves in further up in Thomas County. So, and in Jasper, you're getting the trees to snap around there just a hair on night. I mean, it's bad enough further out with the power outages, but it's a lot worse closer in with the storm system. So, again, a really bad scenario as we continue to highlight. I tried traffic cameras, but we've been in a situation here where we, had to get back on. So that hadn't been my priority, but I'm going to try. And they still have something trying to up around Perry, which we'll see what comes out of that. Maybe nothing. I'll try, but again, continuing to look here. Extreme wind warning again, tornado-like winds all through here. So problematic here, folks. Camera.